Do you ever feel like sitting down to study is the hardest thing in the world? Like there's an invisible wall between you and your books? Today, I'm going to share a story that might just change the way you see your struggles. A story about Yusuf, a young man whose battle with procrastination led him to an unexpected realization, grounded in faith and perseverance. Yusuf was an ordinary 18-year-old boy living in the lively city of Chicago. From the outside, his life seemed perfect. He had supportive parents, a comfortable home, and big dreams of becoming an engineer. But on the inside, he was waging a silent war, a war against his own mind. Every morning, Yusuf promised himself that he'd study harder. He had an exam in just 2 months, and if he aced it, he could secure a scholarship to the university of his dreams. Yet, as soon as he sat down at his desk, his resolve would crumble. The distractions were endless. His phone buzzed, tempting him with endless notifications. His thoughts raced, telling him, "You can study later, you deserve a break," and before he knew it, hours had slipped away. Yusuf's procrastination wasn't born out of laziness. Deep down, he was scared. What if he studied and still failed? What if he wasn't smart enough? These thoughts swirled in his mind like a storm cloud. One evening, his mother found him lying on the couch, scrolling aimlessly through his phone. She sat beside him and said gently, "Yusuf, you need to focus on your studies. Allah has given you potential, but you need to put in the effort." Her words stung. Instead of responding with gratitude, Yusuf snapped, "You don't understand, Mom. It's not that easy." He stormed off to his room, slamming the door behind him. That night, Yusuf lay awake, guilt eating away at him. He knew his mother only wanted the best for him. But why couldn't he break free from this cycle? Why was it so hard to sit down and study? The next day, Yusuf's father handed him a small book of Islamic reminders. "Whenever you feel lost, turn to this," he said. Yusuf opened the book out of curiosity. His eyes landed on a powerful hadith. "The strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer, while there is good in both. Strive for that which benefits you, seek help from Allah, and do not despair." The words hit Yusuf like a lightning bolt. He realized that his struggles were not unique. Even the strongest believers faced challenges, but they relied on Allah and persevered. That evening, Yusuf decided to make a change. He performed wudu, stood for Maghrib prayer, and made a heartfelt dua. "Ya Allah, help me overcome my fears and distractions. Guide me to use my time wisely and fulfill my potential." The next morning, Yusuf set a small goal: study for just 15 minutes without distractions. He turned off his phone, placed it in another room, and sat at his desk. First, it was tough. His mind wandered, and he kept glancing at the clock. But then he remembered another powerful ayah from the Quran. "And whoever fears Allah, He will make for him a way out and will provide for him from where he does not expect." He whispered to himself, "Allah is with me. I just need to take the first step." Those 15 minutes turned into 30, and then an hour. Yusuf felt a spark of hope, but the journey was far from easy. A few days later, Yusuf found himself slipping back into old habits. He stayed up late watching videos, telling himself just one more. The next day, he woke up groggy and unmotivated. Frustrated, he opened the Quran, seeking guidance. His eyes fell on another verse. "Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves." Yusuf realized that change wouldn't come overnight. It required consistent effort and self-discipline. He made a plan: pray Fajr daily and start his day with the Quran. Break his study sessions into small chunks with short breaks. Reward himself with something small after completing each goal. As Yusuf stuck to his routine, he began to notice a shift. Studying was no longer just a chore, it became an act of worship. He reminded himself that seeking knowledge is a form of ibadah in Islam. He recalled the hadith: "Whoever treads a path in seeking knowledge, Allah will make easy for him a path to paradise." This realization gave Yusuf a deeper sense of purpose. He wasn't just studying for grades or a scholarship. He was striving to fulfill his duty as a Muslim. As the exam day approached, Yusuf felt the familiar pangs of anxiety. His mind raced with doubts. What if I fail? What if all this effort was for nothing? But this time, he didn't let the fear paralyze him. Instead, he turned to Allah in dua. "My Lord, expand for me my chest with assurance, and ease for me my task." Yusuf walked into the exam hall with a calm heart. He knew he had done his best, and the rest was in Allah's hands. Weeks later, Yusuf received his results. He didn't achieve the top score he had hoped for, but he passed with decent grades. His mother hugged him tightly and said, "I'm proud of you, Beta, not just for the grades, but for the effort you put in. That's what matters most." Yusuf smiled, feeling a sense of peace. He had learned that success isn't always about the outcome. It's about the journey, the effort, and the trust in Allah's plan. Yusuf's story is a reminder that the hardest battles are often within ourselves. Procrastination, fear, and distractions are challenges we all face. But as Muslims, we have the tools to overcome them. Turn to Allah. Make dua and seek His help in every step. Take small steps. Even a little progress each day can lead to big changes. Find purpose. Remember that seeking knowledge is a noble act in Islam. Dear brothers and sisters, Yusuf's story isn't just his, it's ours. We all have dreams and struggles, but the key is to never give up. Reflect on your own journey. Are you putting in the effort Allah has entrusted you with? If the story inspired you, take a moment to share it with someone who might need it. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so we can continue sharing stories that uplift and inspire. Remember, with hardship comes ease. May Allah guide us all to success in this life and the hereafter.